Sir, that sir.
Sir.
Can we?
Yeah, just 1 minute. Sir, shall we start?
Sure.
So, good afternoon to Anil Panwarji and dear participants, and welcome you all for the today's afternoon session on sustainable biofuel production from agriculture crop residues. So I request Dr. V. Sivardi sir introduce the today's speaker.
Thank you, sir. You given an opportunity to introduce our. We can't call colleague because he is our senior, but I got opportunity. I did PhD with Pawarji. Both are joined at a time. But after PhD also, because of him only, I moved to the renewable energy research side, ICRA under ICAR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research. On the tree, we both worked 3 years on one research component. Especially coming to Pawarji, is the real researcher, is working for rural sustainability. Where generally in research means we are doing some validation, experimental validation, doing publication and all. But with the publication, is doing end use customer satisfaction. If customer is not satisfied, then he will modify the design and he will supply. That beautiful work he is doing. Because of his extraordinary work, he recognized top 2 researcher from India in the renewable energy research. It's a great privilege. My colleague is a top 2 research. We are happy. And he published more than 200 and he guided PhDs, more than 5 PhDs he guided. And also he is the key role person in Maharana Pratap Agriculture University Renewable Energy Department. In solar drying in one component. A second one from biomass, gasification, thermochemical method energy extraction. In these 2 areas he is working. With this brief introduction, now we are handing the session to Dr. Anil Panwar sir. So we are eagerly waiting your sharing of your experiences, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Reddy, for introducing me. I am very thankful to you and your colleague, head of departments, for giving me this opportunity to deliver my experience, research experience in this faculty development program. So I am delivering my talk to a specific topic, particularly on, I am sharing my screen, okay, on the sustainable, so today we discuss on the sustainable biofuel production from crop residues, specifically from the agriculture crop residue, that how we can convert this waste into the wealth. So usually you see the number of issues are coming in force, and Honorable Supreme Court giving a strict guideline to effective and efficient utilization of crop residue to reduce the environment pollutions. So you see particularly in the Punjab and Haryana, the people are burning their crop residue. So our focus is how we can convert this crop residue into the fuel. This is in a sustainable mode. So sustainable biofuel, simply you can say sustainable means fulfilling our requirement without disturbing the need of the coming generation. So the agriculture is only way where you can utilize this crop residue in the sustainable mode. So only see the sustainable mode. So the crop residue, as far as crop residue is concerned, see the crop residue as a whole in the Indian country is around your 686 million tons of the crop residue is available in the country. Out of this, 35% is coming under the domestic supply. So that the people are consuming that or the burning their crop residue for getting the process heat or their own purpose heat or for industrial heat or so. And rest 30% is being used as animal feed. And remaining 35% of that crop residue are surplus. Means those surplus, it means the crop residue which are not consumed by the animal is not used as a feed. So that is a big issue. There's 234 million ton of crop residue is not a small amount. There's a huge amount. So that can be converted into the energy, or it can be used in the manure. So as far as the potential is concerned, that's 234.5 million ton of crop residue has around the 25 megawatt of the electricity potential generation. So there is a different mode and different conversion route is there through which we can convert the crop residue into the usable form of the energy. So the suitable crop residue for energy generation or to is your cotton stalk. It's not consumed by the animal feed. Peas and pea stalk, soya stalk, mustard stalks, or even your cotton stick, maize sticks, millet straw, and from the agro-industrial residue is your groundnut shell also. So this is the basically a crop residue where you can this 235 million ton of crop residue that is a surplus. So keep in mind when you are talking a surplus means in agriculture sector surplus means not consumed by the animal, it's not used by the animal feed, and after the domestic use whatever biomass is available, that is your surplus in nature. So as far as Indian continent is concerned, you see this in the huge potential in the Punjab. Because in Punjab is called the bowl of the wheat and producing the paddy straw, and your wheat straw is a considerable amount of the paddy straw and wheat straw is available. They are burning the farmer stubble in open field conditions, and that create the nuisance in the environment. They are all smokes turned to the Delhi and crossing the Uttar Pradesh also. And the Punjab and some sort of the Gujarat 0 megajoule of that potential. So through which in Uttar Pradesh and some you see that you burn the crop residue in the biomass or in the open field condition. That certainly is not a complete combustion. You are not maintaining the stoichiometric air fuel ratio because the dump hump is there. So there is not properly maintaining and then generating this carbon, say the particles that is less than 0.25 ppm. So there are carcinogenic materials. They are fly ash kind of the carbon. They are mixed with air and they're mixed and creating the pollution. So the sea, there is a considerable amount of this huge smoke is being generated and it mixed with the air. And this satellite picture, this whole smoke is turned to the Delhi, and this red spot you can see. This is a spot where the farmers burning their stubble and crop residue. So that all smoke is turned to the Delhi in the northern parts with the smokes, and during the in these seasons in the say in the winter, and due to this dense of your smoke, so densified this smoke and creating the poor visibility. So see, in as far as biomass is concerned, because this may be a new topic for you, because you're all people from basic engineering side. And as far as so this biomass is any organic organism, they containing carbonous material, that is your biomass, and all resources either is it included in the crop residue, your sewage, your municipal solid waste management, waste and animal dung and your forest residues. There's all organic materials. That is material, and that is your biomass resources. So am I audible? Anyone can respond. Am I audible to you?
Yes, sir.
Sir, clearly
Okay.
audible.
Okay, thank you. So this is a simple way that all organisms that contain the carbon, even human beings and animals and all living creatures, they containing. Simple, if we define this biomass, that is your plant matter, and such as your tree, grasses, and agriculture crops, the other biological material. So that biomass that is containing all carbonous material, these all carbonous materials are biodegradable or degradable in nature. So that can be converted, this all biomass, all kind of biomass material, that can be converted into the fuel. This may be your solid fuel, this may be your gaseous fuel, or it may be your liquid fuel. One by one, we will discuss that how we can produce this solid fuel or continuous or into the liquid or in the gaseous fuel. So for production of your electric power, heat, chemicals, and other fuels, that is can be extracted or can be produced through your biomass. So very firstly, if we combust the biomass, and very interestingly, you see if we discuss about the renewables of energy. So normally we go through the definition, by definition of this renewable energy, that renewable source of energy is environment friendly. No doubt that is environment friendly, but whatever material, whether it is your biomass or is your mines, coal, petrol, kerosene, fossil fuels or renewable fuels, once those who are combustible in nature, they produce the carbon dioxide. So once it produces the carbon dioxide, then we put a big question that is it source. Okay, while we are burning or combusting the bio into an open field condition or in dioxide and heat, but that whatever carbon dioxide is being produced during the combustion of the biomass is being consumed by the coming crops. Is a regenerative process. So once we are growing this paddy this time, next time maybe the pulses, maybe other kinds of sugarcane also. So they continuous the production process is there. So whatever biomass is being burning and producing the carbon dioxide is being fully utilized by the coming crops. So it's make a carbon neutral. There's no more addition of the greenhouse gases or carbon dioxide amounts in the environment. That's why its biomass is considered as a renewable source of energy. Okay. Now is as far as the combustion is concerned. So its combustion means you are combusting the biomass. So in the presence of oxygen, it's maybe in excess amount of the air, exceeding your stoichiometric air-fuel ratio. So we are producing that heat and that your carbon dioxide or water vapor. So in combustion is deliberately produce the heat, and that heat is being utilized for your process operation or process heat generation or steam generation or is your own requirement. That it is a combustion process. So in very firstly, we see the combustion is one process where you can supply the plenty air or even excess amount of the air. And see another option that how we can convert this biomass into the usable form of the fuel. So we said, okay, we can produce the solid fuel. Okay, solid, okay, if you dry the biomass, that is a solid fuel. Further, you can process this biomass, means you can upgrade the calorific value of the biomass. So the upgradation of the energy, upgradation of the calorific value, it means it's lead to the clean fuel. So clean fuel is meant its carbon content is high and is give a more heat. So pyrolysis is a kind of thermal conversion process. So normally we are referring as a combustion of heating of the biomass in absence of air. Okay, so in absence of air, if we are heat the biomass, then we can produce a kind of the charcoal. So we are heating the biomass, we can produce the kind of the charcoal, and that charcoal can be used in your domestic applications or in your industrial application also. And you say the low temperature thermal the pyrolysis process, a considerable amount of this condense this vapor, then you can produce a bio oil. That is to, if you refine it and upgrade it through the catalytic mode or so, then it certainly acts as a furnace oil. So through pyrolysis process, we can produce a liquid fuel and a solid fuel. It depends on your residence time. If we heat the biomass for a long period, a longer period, say for 2 hours, 2 days, 2 hours, 3 days or so, then certainly it produces charcoal. But vapor generated during the pyrolysis process, refer for fraction of second, say for 2 seconds or 2 to 10 seconds, then certainly we can condense these gases, then produce the pyrolysis oil. So this is thermochemical conversion process through which we can produce the solid and liquid fuel. Now see, in case of the fuel mode, if we're supposed to run our engine, particularly, or say the shifting the engine from the gas process is there. So it's again is a thermochemical conversion process. So in which we are combusting the combustion process. Gasification is a combustion process, but it is in a limited air. It is a partial combustion process. It's not a complete combustion process. Complete combustion and water vapor only. But as far as gasification process is concerned, we are supplying the air in limited amount, though it is a partial combustion process. So during the partial combustion process, we are getting the quality gas that is called a producer gas. So that gas can be combustible and can be combusted in your furnace or in your boiler somewhere. So in this organic at elevated temperature, to categorize as partial oxidation or indirect heating type of process. This is in a gasification process. So combustion, pyrolysis, and gasification process, these are the main source and main conversion route through which we can convert the biomass into the usable form of the fuel. And checked through different mode, either your fuel, your chemical, and your material, or heat and power from the biomass. So see this, your biomass simply. So this simply, we are talking this the biomass feedstock. So these all are the feedstock. So residues, grasses, and agriculture crop, agriculture residues. It is not mentioned, it's clearly showing that it is a wheat crops or your paddy crops also. Here is dealing with your energy crop, means your fast growing species kind of the plants we are using. So in say, for example, your Jatropha plants or eucalyptus kind of seed plants, or which are fast growing in early, within 2 or 3 years is being matured, and you can burn it and can steaming and trimming it, and you can get the fuel. And agriculture residues, no doubt, is your crop residue. Animal waste, here is your cow dung also, that, and your municipal solid waste. These are the feedstock in the biomass. So through your gasification, combustion, co-firing, pyrolysis, and enzymatic fermentation, through these are the conversion mode. So see in your gasification mode that we have discussed, combustion and co-firing. If you go through some short of the MNRE website, you will find that co-firing they are promoting in the cement industries. So some sort up to 2%, 3%, or 5%, whatever crop residue or the biomass, surplus biomass is available in the vicinity of the cement industries. So that is being mixed with your pet coke or your maize coal, so they can supplement some sort of the fossil fuel without affecting the overall production. So ultimately, that we are utilizing this crop residue for enhancing the income, and they go through the waste management. The crop waste management is there if you go for the co-firing. So co-firing is dealing with your combusting two fuel at a time. And pyrolysis, no doubt we are getting this liquid fuel, some sort of the phenolics here also achieving through this one, adhesives, fatty acid, some acetic acid. So this pyrolysis is simply is the destructive distillation. So in case of the petroleum refinery, we go for the fractional distillation, but go for the biomass based refineries, the biorefinery, we go for the destructive distillation. So destructive distillation, we are getting this fatty acid, adhesive, acetic acid, carbon black, and paint on some sort of dye pigment and other materials through which. And this ethanol and renewable fuels. So see in biomass, that is a wide variety of the biomass. So some biomass is lignocellulosic, hemicellulosic, or cellulosic material. So cellulosic kind of the biomass is a corn straw. So that kind of materials is directly fermented and produce the ethanol. So otherwise, that's a lignocellulosic material. We go for the high temperature to degrade the lignin in the biomass, and only we can extract the energy. So this is the way that how we can produce from the biomass to different wood. So this thermochemical conversion and your enzymatic fermentation is the route through which you can produce the energy. So see simple biomass conversion process. So simply you see as a biomass, either we can convert in the physical form, thermochemical and biochemical. So physical chemical, see usually we see in the Punjab or in Haryana district, in Haryana state, they are transporting this is your wheat straw to the Rajasthan. Yes. So they are transporting the material to the other state for the animal feed. So the bulk density of that loose biomass is hardly as around 100 cubic meter per your kg per meter cubic. So this is due to the poor bulk density, transportation costs increase. And some researchers, and they are also mentioning that say transporting this loose biomass about or the far from 50 kilometers, above 50 kilometers is not economically somewhat okay. So that can be converted into the solid fuel by making the pellets or intensified or briquettings. So in densification process, we make it dried. First, we crush this biomass, make it powdery form, and go through densification process. So at high pressure machine usually it can be usually recommended the densified this high pressure machine, and this is the binderless technology. And some for domestic, they're using the pelleting kind of machine. Small high densification machines, it produces 10, say for your 60 mm, and that is a good fuel for furnace or in the boiler. So ultimately, if we combine this through physical process without making this thermochemical route, we can convert this crop and we can increase the income of the farmers. So if we compare the cost economics of this loose biomass, it is hardly or 500 rupees a ton. So is a 50 paisa kg or so. Now, including your transportation, it's come around 2 rupees. And if you convert into the pellets and sell into the market, it's costing around 6 rupees a kg. So significant in the price, so that we can increase the income of the farmers. And second is your thermochemical conversion. As we discussed, there's a combustion process and plenty of air. It means maintaining stoichiometric air fuel ratio. Then we get the heat energy. And gasification, so gas simply is called a producer type of the gas, which contains some sort of the methane. These are the combustible in nature. So gasification is a partial combustion process through which we can produce is a kind of gaseous fuel. And torrefication is an importantly as, and now we in our university we are working on gasification. We are in torrefication and pyrolysis the biomass. So see, in torrefied is a kind of, those people are from the mechanical side, and they are well aware about the seasoning process. So if you put this wood log into the in the water for a longer period, so it's making hydrophobic kind of the nature. So it will not retain the moisture during the rainy season. So similarly, is it that is your torrefication process. So that one is a hydrotrophic torrefication. Now it is in thermotorrefication process. During torrefication process, we heating the biomass and we condense the gases and make the biomass into the hydrophobic in nature. So it improved the grindability. So once, because we are dealing with crop residue, so once you torrefied this biomass, and after torrefication, it became a hydrophobic in nature and become more brittle. So it improved the grindability. Once it improved the grindability, certainly your densified fuel will be more and some. So it's with clean combustion. So in pyrolysis process, simply heating the biomass, that gas generated during the pyrolysis process, that condensed and collect in pyrolysis process. So we are getting the bio oil. That is a pyrolytic oil. However, in the focus mainly, later we will discuss on biochar. So that how is being produced. Hydrothermal liquefaction, that is a good entrepreneurs opportunities for the rural youth to extract the essential oil from the crop residues. So you can extract, yes, anyone? Okay. So hydrothermal liquefaction means we are generating the quality steam and passes through the biomass, and we extract the essential oil. So that essential oil, that is if you are extracting the oil, the hydrothermal liquefaction of this lemongrass, then you are getting the lemongrass oil. So it is a good mosquito repellent. They say when you are getting the rose water also, and through biochemical conversion, through this biochemical, through hydrolysis fermentation. So this fermentation process, we get the bioethanol. So it's mixed with your petroleum fuel. And anaerobic digestion, we are getting the gas. So this again, so the anaerobic is completely as in absence of air, similar to your torrefication or say the pyrolysis process, particle conversion process. So if we go for thermochemical conversion process, so see the temperature and your residence time play the major role while deciding your end product. So through thermochemical conversion process, if you go for the pyrolysis process, if you go for, okay, it is pyrolysis process, it's a slow pyrolysis, range of 350 to 700 degrees Celsius for a longer period, say for 30 minutes, greater than 30 minutes. And that heating rate Celsius per minute, then we are getting the solid fuel. Okay, you're getting the solid fuel. The solid fuel, it is your biochar or your charcoal. So the bit confused maybe there. If you are talking about the biochar or the charcoal. So usually we people refer, okay, if you are producing the charcoal from the woody biomass, say wood logs are being pyrolyzed, then it is the biochar. That is a char, sorry. And if we convert this through slow pyrolysis or crop residue or small things or things, then it is a char. That is called your char. So charring of crop residue, it is your biochar. So in this process, we are heating the biomass is up to greater than 30 minutes. So usually taking longer period, and then we are getting the solid fuel. Now see in fast pyrolysis process. In this process, see we are heating the biomass up to say 700 degrees, 450 to 7 degrees Celsius, but a fraction of seconds, only 1 second is there. And heating rate is around 10 degree centigrade per second. So see the changes here. Here in this case is your 25 degree per minute, here 10 degree per second, and residence time is your 1 second. So that heat is whatever gas is being generated, it gas that should be removed from, or it should be escaped from the reactor in a fraction of second and then condense. So we get the bio oil. Okay, no doubt the residual char is there, but we are getting the bio oil. So char, liquid and solid fuel we are getting, and some non-condensable gases, but they are combustible. So solid, liquid, and gaseous fuel that can be generated through this fast pyrolysis process. And then see the torrefication process. So torrefication is a heating of biomass. So if we see that biomass usually it contain your 70% is around your volatile matter, 70% volatile matter, and 30% is your only fixed carbon. So 70%, 30 volatile matter, while you are burning the biomass, that releasing the smoke, that is your volatile matter, and some carbon is there. So volatile carbon is there. So in torrefication process, so it is a upgrading your biomass to heat the biomass 200 to 300 degrees Celsius for 15 to 60 minutes. So that all the structures has been changed. The biomass structure certainly will change and will not return the moisture, make brittle, and remove the volatile metal. Because if you heat the biomass up to 100 degrees, water, that water vapor or the water is being evaporated in 100 degrees Celsius. So what all water will be evaporated. There is no residue. It is a complete bone dry. No water residue is there, and make a brittle in nature. So it is easily grinded. And now see the hydrothermal liquefaction process. Here is important issue is your steam pressure. That if pressure is your 4 to 22 megapascal. This much pressure is required if we go for the oil production. So it means you are extracting the essence from the biomass. So if you're using lemongrass, if you're using the clove, using your peppermints, or if you're using the lemon or your rose petals also, to extracting this material or essential oil from this crop residues or crop materials, then hydroliquefaction process in the range of 250 to 374 degrees Celsius at high pressure. Now see the gasification process means it is a combustion, so it is a partial combustion process above 700 degrees Celsius. So at atmosphere pressure, okay, then we get the syngas, that is your producer gas. This can be used in an engine to combust the to generate the process heat for your running the engine or running the boiler also. Then you see a certain pathway to 1 to 4 pathway is a thermocellulosic feedstock which contains the lignin in the biomass. So see, in the lignin is the main culprit in the biomass. If is a poor lignin content or no lignin, then we can directly fermentate this biomass and produce the ethanol. But lignin, without increasing the temperature beyond 500 degrees Celsius, it will not degrade it. So this gasification mode means your thermochemical conversion mode is desirable to crack this lignocellulose material and convert. Lignin is simply a long carbon chain. So if it completely combusts the lignin, that lignin material, then certainly it will give a good calorific value. And even in densities, at high temperature, when dye is heated, then that lignin acts as a binder in the material. So it is act as a binder material and certainly give good calorific value. Material, that kind of the tar is there. So in lignocellulosic material, we grind it, powdered it, and make the through densification process. So that lignin is acted as a binder. But in thermochemical conversion, so we can, through gasification mode, we can give the synthetic fuel or through the hydrocarbon. Okay, so this synthetic fuels, it means your producer gas, or if we go for the steam reforming process, then we can produce the methanol also. So renewable liquid transportation fuel that can be produced through gasification process, and through biomethane biomass. So the biomethanization process means whatever carbon dioxide, this your CO and CH4, and this hydrogen is being produced further catalyzed using the catalytic mode and can be substitute your natural gases. So high efficiency power generation via gasification process. So that can be go for the kind of a quality combustion process through gasification mode. So we can generate the electricity. So IISc Bangalore, the people, they are working on production of the electricity in terms of megawatts using this gasification mode, and intermediate your bioenergy carrier by other thermochemical process. So it can be upgraded through destructive distillation. We can extract the oil and it can be used. Now see in another options, so other kind of pre-treatment is required in lignocellulosic material or in energy crops. So that can further, others can be produced for the ethanol, high alcohol sugar fermentation process, and we can produce the ethanol. Similarly, aquatic kind of the biomass is algae or microalgae produce. So that biomass, your bioenergy, that is from your CO2 carrier. So whatever CO2 is being produced, that can be fed into the pond. So that help in growing the algae. Through processing this algae, we can produce the transportation fuel. So these are some conversion mode in this one. So through biomass, see how we can produce this a kind of sustainable fuel. So as the kind of generation of the fuel. So we see the first generation of the fuel, and then second, third, and fourth generation of the fuel. Similarly to the Bharat 1, Bharat 2, Bharat 3, 4, and now directly jump to the Bharat 6. So there is similarly, we are dealing with the fuel from biofuel from depending on the type of crops. So very first, say the first generation of the biofuel. So first generation of fuel means just directly producing from food crops. If we use the food crops, okay, if we are producing the ethanol from maize crop or from also, that is a food crops. So producing this kind of the fuel means two main type of a generation is commonly your biodiesel or bioester or ethanol, means producing the fuel from food crop. That is a first generation kind of fuel. If I produce the biodiesel from soybean oil, or if I produce the oil from mustard or groundnut oil, that is your edible. Okay, so if we are producing the biodiesel from edible oil, that is a first generation biodiesel. Now, so it no doubt it substitute your diesel, and through transesterification process, you all are aware that transesterify of your vegetable oil, and we are getting this kind of the oil and fats. As of now, without major modification, you can run your existing engine by blending, or 100% biodiesel run engine also available. Similarly, in your if you are producing the ethanol through fermentation process, then if you the maize, then certainly we are this are all are edible, and we are fermented it and extracting the ethanol. Then it is a first generation type of the ethanol. So it derived from your sugar or starch directly, say so directly, and then blend more easily with your gasoline fuel. So similarly, see in case of the second generation of the fuel. So second generation of fuel is from your non-food cross sources. So the non-food sources, say for example, if you're producing your say biodiesel from jatropha seed. So jatropha is not edible. So that's why it is called your second generation of the biodiesel. So is a from marginal cropland or unsuitable kind of food production. So it can be produced in of growing the jatropha kind of plants in the barren land, or there is no pasture is there. Then we are getting the non-edible food or non-edible type of seed, and we can convert this into the fuel, either your thermochemical or through the biochemical conversion process. So this simply a first generation is from your food crops, and second generation is from your non-food crop. So, and what about your third generation of fuel? That is your algal or microorganism kind of, and it's fully commercialized, and still research is going on it one. So through which we through algae and different conversion mode is there. So through which we can produce the bioethanol or biodiesel, butanol, or ethanol, or some sort of the vegetable oil through this one. And that algae can be produced in an open field, closed loop, or photobioreactor. So third generation of this kind of the fuel is dealing with your algal or your microorganism kind of the technology. And see the technology and more emerging fuel system. And as a lot of research is required in this one to establish the fourth generation of the fuel. That is that carbon dioxide that they feed into genetically modified your crop or high biomass yield or the low lignin content, right? So those who dealing with your biotechnology also, so they give some type of genotypes to produce this crop with containing the low lignin. So, and enhance the carbon storage capacity. So that carbon storage capacity is to be enhanced. And that in a fourth generation of the fuel, so it's coming from your pyrolysis or in gasification digester. So while during this digestion or gasification process, this you are simply say in your upstream process, so we have captured the carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide sent into your depleted oil or gas fuel or unminable coal seam or else or in a cell and echo fire. So these are capturing the carbon dioxide, and this is called your sequestration. Sequestration means your removal of the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. You are not adding the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. That is your sequestration. And your fuel upgradation, that is your downstream process. In fuel upgradation means we remove these all impurities. If we make the fermentation and producing the biogas, that biogas content your carbon dioxide, and the rest is your water vapor and H2S. So during your down dioxide and make the complete bio-CNG, we compress it and make the bio-CNG. And the IIT Delhi peoples, they are running their vehicle, one car, and from Center for Rural Development, that professor running their car from last 10 years on this bio-CNG without affecting the performance of that engine. So that after ultra cleaning process or make the carbon negative fuel, see it all first generation, second generation, and third generation kind of the fuel are carbon neutral. But here is a carbon negative. It's important. Fourth generation fuel is your is ultra clean carbon negative fuel, your biohydrogen, your biomethane, and synthetic biofuel. So end user for purpose. So this is your carbon sequestration process. Means whatever CO2 is being released. Say for example, if I burning the 1 kg of the biomass, so it's around 1.57 kg of the carbon dioxide is being released. If I captured this 1.57 kg of the carbon dioxide and put into the air cell and echo fire, right? So that excess carbon dioxide, while during the next crop, that carbon dioxide is not available that released from the biomass. So that extract this carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, that is a sequestration, means removal of the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere is sequestration. Now mitigation is a different issue. In later slide we will discuss what is mitigation, and the sequestration means removal of the carbon dioxide or carbon gases from atmosphere. This is your fourth generation of the fuel. Similarly to your Bharat 6 means your all vehicles are emission free or poor, or let us say lesser kind of emission. So the Bharat 6. Similarly, we are talking about the fourth generation of the fuel. So those who are interested in dealing with this fourth generation of the biofuel, they can go ahead. And government also promoting on this upgradation of this all bio hydrogen or biomethane or kind of fuel. So broadly, I'm just recapping this excess air we need in the combustion. So we are getting the heat, a partial combustion, the gasification process. So we are producing your producer gas and no air in pyrolysis process. So we are getting the liquid, that is your pyrolytic oil, or is called the bio oil, and your biochar. So whole this one is your power producer gas, is your gaseous fuel, liquid fuel, and your solid fuel. So this through thermochemical conversion or desired target through your liquid, solid, and gaseous fuel. So simply, if we define the gas, if we convert the solid fuel into the combustible gases mixture, that is your carbon monoxide, hydrogen, and methane content. So these are the three main gases which are combustible in nature and that involve partial combustion and containing four distinct zone or process. That is your say simply your pyrolysis, drying process, combustion, and the reduction process. So different kind of biomass gasifier is available, and IISc Bangalore people have done a miracle in producing the say simple electricity through the biomass and effective utilization of your paddy straw to produce the electricity through in gasification process. It is not easy to produce the electricity or that gas directly being used in the engine. So considerable amount of the tar and other impurities is there. And during attending this temperature is greater than higher degree, 1000 degrees Celsius. So in combustion, where combustion is taking place, though whether it is partial combustion or complete combustion, it doesn't matter. But in combustion process, it certainly is lead to 1000 degrees Celsius temperature. So the gas in this position, see at gas outlet here. So just is an oxidation zone, a red hot zone. So in this zone, the temperature is around 1000 degrees Celsius. Just below it, that is your reduction zone. So, and we are getting the gas. So the temperature of that gas is around 500 to 100 to feed directly into the engine. So cooling is required. So we should cool this gas, and during the cooling or in the gasification process, some sort of the impurities, it's maybe your some tar particle, maybe your ash particles, it will contaminate in the gas. So we have to remove this kind of impurities and can feed into your engine. So cooling and cleaning is required if you go for the electricity generation. But as far as your thermal application is concerned, if you combust the biomass directly in the burner without, there is no need of go for the purification purpose. So you directly combust then in the furnace or in the boiler, you can get the process heat. So no cooling and cleaning is required in thermal application, while in engine application, we have to clean and cool the gases to attain the desired parameters of this one. And this producer gas, if you compare this kind of the gas, the carbon monoxide is around 15 to 20% carbon monoxide is there. That is a combustible and toxic. So, and hydrogen 10 to 15% is a high energy carrier gas. And this your methane is up to 4% only. And nitrogen content is much higher, says 45 to 55, and carbon dioxide is 8 to 12%. And is as far as your calorific value is concerned, is around 900 to 1100 degrees, 1100 kilocalorie normal cubic meter. There's a calorific value. And see if I use a kind of biomass to produce to produce a gas, then from 1 kg of the biomass, I can achieve this theoretically 2.5, but in experimentally that we have conducted a rigorous experiment to extract how much air or this gas is being produced by combustion of 1 kg of the biomass is coming around 2.2 normal meter cubic per kg of that kind of nitrogen content in the producer gas is much higher, because that in the partial combustion 78% of the nitrogen, and that does not help in combustion process. So it is not you are burning the biodiesel in the engine, then certainly the NOx emission will be high. But in case of the gasification process, there is no NOx. So simply because that NOx is usually generated 1500 degrees Celsius, then the NOx will generate. So here that nitrogen is taking from the atmospheric conditions. So the atmospheric air contain high nitrogen content. So it acts as inert gas, and that's why the percentage is much higher. But the CO and hydrogen and methane content, these are the combustible in nature. So that we can remove this carbon dioxide and hydrogen, this nitrogen, then we get the quality gas. So further this that effective utilization or make purified and produce the hydrogen, that hydrogen can be used in the fuel cell. So is again this use for fuel cell or hydrogen production, that is our biohydrogen. Now see, this is say the slides from Ankur website. So that fully different. See, if here is your gasification mode, the cyclone separators, so all less particles is separated here, and then cooling result, a cleaning mode, gas mode is required. So that's cleaning is required. So water scrubbing type of cooling is required. So reduce the simple say your water type of scrubber. So that all CO2 is being dissolved in this one, and that all clean or cool the temperature. Once it cool the temperature, then it contain the moisture. So some moisture separators and all ultra filtering is required. So that make and that combust into the engine. So that can generate the electricity and give a clean combustion gas. So that application of this biomass gasifier for power generation. So you can go for the irrigation pumping. So whatever crop residue is available, say, okay, so 5 hectares or 600, 6 hectares or 10 hectare land is there. Then you can collect your crop residue, dried it, make the pellets and feed into the gasifier, a small gasifier. Then you can fulfill your energy requirement. So for irrigation pumping, there is no issue. And village electrification is all many NGOs and self-help society, and they electrify their remote areas. In particularly in the tribal area, they are installing this kind of biomass gasifier, and they supply for 5 to 6 hours of electricity during the night time. So their children can avail the electricity and get the quality education during the night time. And the captive power generation, the biomass gas, all cement industry, they have their own power generation plant. So that captive power generation, that if you have million tons of the crop residue, then collect it, dump it, and convert into the huge power generation. And grid feed power generation energy through plantation in the wasteland, or you can generate the charcoal and the power generation. This is from the power sector. And for thermal application, because we are also dealing with your agriculture sector, so you can generate the hot air, and that hot air can be passes through the dryer to dry the product, or dry the agriculture produce. So in dryer, usually all agriculture crop residue or all agriculture crops or produce is dried in the range of 60 to 70 degrees Celsius. So we can dry the product and sell in the market. This is a kind of value addition. So you can integrate it with this gasifier with power generation and whatever waste is a heat exchanger, and that through heat exchanger you can generate the heat, that is your process heat, hot air. That hot air passes through a dryer, and you can reduce your energy consumption and increase the farm productivity, enhance your productivity, and this kind of things that can be used through thermal application. And that directly burn in this producer gas in the boiler. You can generate your thermic fluid heater, your some oven, furnaces and cleans. These are thermal application. So there is no cleaning and cooling is required. Whatever type of the gas is available, you can combust and can produce your desired heat in the thermal application. And as far as your environmental aspect is concerned in the gasification process, so that water is circulation mode. So you can directly, you can recirculate it after adjusting your pH. And the air, that gasification is not released in gas into the atmosphere. So combustion equipment connected to the gasifier is much cleaner. It's no issue with your liquid fuel also. And solid, that we are getting the charcoal, turning the biological ash. That biological ash that's contained more minerals, so the main level that can return in the soil. So that can improve the health of that soil. So this is through the solid waste. And noise is no doubt. And so noise in case of your major equipment, that is just lower than with 100% of liquidity. So it's low, no doubt. And mass or convert the energy or the fuel from the biomass, there is negligible sulfur content. So is biomass usually say its content only or carbon is a 50%, 50 to 52% carbon content is there, 40 to 42% oxygen is there, 6 to 6.5% is your hydrogen, and 0.6% is your nitrogen. And sulfur is almost negligible. Only this mustard store type material that contain the sulfur. Otherwise, almost no sulfur is there. So no SOx emission, SOx will release no sulfur content in the biomass. So then through, as we see in this one, that we are getting the charcoal and things. So this is a simple, either you convert this into physical process. So through physical process, you can convert into densify. We are not happy with the gasifier performance. Then, okay, we can search in another option to improve the productivity or to enhance the income of the farmers. That is, reduce the input, increment in the income of the input. So input level, if once you reduce the input, then certainly you can increase your income. So you can recommend to the farmers or the farming communities or some NGOs who are dealing with the farmers that biochar is the best option to replacing, to feed the organic carbon in the soil. So what happened actually in because the independence, the population of that time is around 30 crore population, and hardly we are getting say 52 million tons of the wheat production in countries. So starvation problem is there and a big issue dealing with production, crop production. And then as evolution, Dr. Swaminathan gave miracles in the Indian history to feed all population and give a kind of modified, kind of high yield variety type of the product, wheat, all kind of say the food crops, and then increasing the chemical fertilizer. So without giving the much desired output. So once your excessive utilization of this chemical fertilizer reduce the health of the soil. So many state chief ministers giving a state direction to the agriculture officers to generate their soil health card. So accordingly, they can feed the micronutrient and major nutrient to the soil. So no doubt, so the biochar is a kind of charcoal through generating the heat of the organic matter and limited oxygen or in absence of oxygen. So this organic carbons, that because we in very first we see the biomass and honey organic or any or materials which are carbonous type of material that contain organic carbon, so that it can easily degrade. That is your organic carbon. So that organic carbon is in the soil enable your soil biota and flourish and assisting the process of nutrient flow and increasing the cation exchange capacity, and water retaining and nutrient retaining capacity certainly will increase. So it retain more moisture in the soil and adding the organic carbon into the soil. And this is a very good option to convert your crop residue into the biochar that is generated in our own field. So how we can articulate this technology to, or this idea or this technology to the farmers, that without, in spite of burning this crop residue, you can produce the charcoal, feed it to your soil. Then a major issue with Punjab and Haryana peoples and Western UP people, because they all are canal irrigated peoples. The field is canal mass is take 30 to 45 days for degradation. So they hardly have 15 days in their hand to grow this next crop. So they can't wait for 45 days or 35 days for degradation of this crop residue. That's why the people are burning. So that, and they use completely the farm mechanization is there. So once it farm mechanized, then certainly they're collecting only the upper part of the plants and residual, say around your 35 centimeters or from the ground that is stable. that is not easily to collect, and their labor cost certainly will increase once go for the farm mechanization using the combine harvester. Then certainly it increase the farm your production cost. So that's why the Punjab and Haryana and the Western UP people, they're burning their crop residue in the field. But if we collect it effectively, and then we can convert into the biochar and then feed into the soil. So certainly the chemical input will reduce into the field, and we get a kind of organic material or organic food product. So the role of biochar in case of your soil. So that biochar is say simply your agricultural production in a global scale to secure your food security. So this is a simple way you can see its soil contain approximately 2344, means your 2,344 gigatons of your organic carbon. And small changes in your organic carbon, terrestrial organic carbon, then there's significant changes in your impact of your atmospheric carbon concentration. So I will show you that how this organic, your biochar is helpful to produce quality fuel, quality grain, and reduce your carbon emission in the atmosphere. So simple. Then why this is the issue, that why we are thinking and talking about this biochar. So certainly, first is your mitigation of climate change. So everybody is talking about the climate change. But what is the climate change? But we go for adaptation purpose. So whatever this your situation is there, we adopt it. Now earlier when the corona come in the picture, nobody is taking care of this. Okay, now very scared about this one, and now everybody is taking the mask and properly sanitizing. They're washing their hand. So they adopt this technology. They adopt the situation. How we can survive in this pandemic situation? That is your adaptation. So we adopt this kind of thing. So whatever mitigation of this climate change, further improvement is there. So climate change and your soil improvement. So deficiency in the organic carbon in the soil is severe as of now, because excessive use of the this chemical fertilizer in the soil, certainly it reduces the organic content in the soil and give you a very, very poor health of that soil. That's why the productivity is certainly reduced. If we compare the food productivity in the USA, they give a high yield productivity in per hectare, in as far as an Indian condition is very poor. Now and then go for the energy production. So we can produce the energy. If we make densify with your crop residue, this biochar, and we get the quality and certainly the pest management. So once we manage this all, a good person and give a good responsible to our social financial benefit to the farmers and our end. So the energy production, your soil improvement, and your waste management. Okay, so they certainly will give you your things. Now see, and now, okay, that your primary study of if we produce this kind of the char from different thermal conversion process, as we discussed earlier, okay, if we up to slow pyrolysis, all are in external heating process. So 30 minutes, we are getting this kind of slow pyrolysis process, and fast pyrolysis at 2 to 3 seconds, and the gasification a few minutes we are getting. Now see in Amazon corner of the world. So terra preta is just simply say due to the human activity, they produce the black soil. And the black earth and has been radioactively dated. That is around 500 to 8,000 as found is only where the people live. Okay, and rich in the mineral, it most important ingredient is the biochar is source of terra preta color. You can see that where the more carbon is there, more organic carbon is there, that become a black in the nature. And see this carbon positives, negative cycle. So see, in this case, this is your simple way that net withdrawal of your 0%. Okay, if your soil carbon is there, carbon sequestration through photosynthesis is your carbon neutral. Okay, so this all things is done to your carbon in making a complete carbon cycle during the photosynthesis reaction. Then 50% turned to your soil. Okay, so through this soil and all these things. But as far as once you add the biochar, see, this is your simple biochar. If you are not converting this biomass into the biochar, then this will be your one cycle. So okay, it's make a complete carbon dioxide sent to the soil and making photosynthesis reaction, observe the carbon dioxide and make a complete zero neutral cycle. Now, if I convert this biomass into the biochar through pyrolysis process, so through pyrolysis process, this simple say okay, carbon content in the biomass and make it so that 50% turned into 25% is in your bioenergy carbon neutral emissions. So through biomass, okay, so net withdrawal here is 50%, okay, and in this case only side, then soil side 5%, and then through this pyrolysis process, then only 25% of carbon dioxide is being released. So 5% this one and 25% this one. So 50% is required. That this 25 plus 5 is 30 and 20% is drawn from your atmosphere. So that is your carbon sequestration. Means your carbon negative cycle, making a carbon negative. Okay. Then this carbon negative cycle is your carbon sequestration. While in case of without conversion, that is your carbon neutral cycle. Okay, we are not going for direct combustion. Okay, there is no issue. We are not adding the biochar in the soil. Then once you in the soil, then it is a carbon sequestration. So it retain in the soil for a longer period. It is a kind of a stable type of biochar. So you can convert this type of biochar into your activated biochar. That activated biochar is exclusively used in your water filter that containing the carbon membranes, which be making or observing the heavy metal fire. So one of my students is also working on the activated biochar and making a water fire or water reach our goal, and shortly will release this kind of water purifier for tribal people, and that is specifically can produce from crop residue. And one of the progressive farm come forward and make a kind of their own entrepreneurs farming for the farming community, that how we can convert this crop residue into the usable form, the fuel. Biochar, or see that then the all ICR peoples they're taking the oath that we will not burn our crop residue and we will save our environment. This is from Krishi Vigyan Kendra Karnal, Punjab people. And they take the test. Now see this timeline for carbon transformation. You see this is a good kind of compilation. If I burn this biomass, that this fossil fuel, that carbon produced through this fossil fuel, if I produce this one, burn it, okay, then if I burn it, then see that this enormous amount of carbon proportionate has been produced, and more than 100 of the years is being required to convert this all things to fossil fuel consumption in the carbon and releasing this carbon. So that carbon is again consumed by the biomass or living or in dead biomass. If we dead biomass, then converted the fossil fuels for millions of the year, then storing the carbon. But if I use the biocarbon, say if I use this biocarbon in a million minutes of the seconds, okay, optimal human activity or so, that this, if this biomass convert into biocarbon and burn it, okay, then again is in a shorter period, and then in a shorter period, it can be regenerated. So this or 1,000 years is where the carbon in the soil that depends on the quality of the biochar. If you monitor all parameters, if you produce your biochar at 500 a long-term in degrees Celsius, and certainly it will retain in your soil for a longer period. So for a longer period, it will absorb the carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, and that convert into carbon. That carbon certainly it will enhance your cation exchange capacity, nutrient transformation rate, and moisture retenability in the soil. So certainly it will increase your kind of you can say the productivity of the crop. Then again, you see there is a common practice that is being utilized, or this can be excessively used in the Indian country. It's a traditional way to the Prosperous juliflora. The people are cutting and making the heap and covered it in earthen pot. And then this one is uncontrolled condition, kind of transportation metallic clean. You can produce the biochar using the big size of wood log. But here we are talking of the wood logs only, or bioforest residues, to convert this into the biochar. And see, this is your charcoal produced from your metallic mold or earthen pot. So they are making this kind of heap and covered with clay or sand, and then give the fire. Then they are getting this kind of things. So this is the things. And I will show you that we people produce this kind of a continuous screw reactor type biochar production unit. And we exclusively develop this for farmer community. And one of farmers adopted our technology. And this we are using a kind of groundnut shell, mustard straw, wheat straw, all kind of a small sized kind of crop residue. And they are in, it is in a continuous mode. So continuously we are feeding the biomass into the reactor, and we are getting the biochar. So in this case, we have used kind of burner. So we heat the reactor around 400 to 500 degrees Celsius, and we feed the biomass. So we are getting the quality biochar. So this quality biochar, we have asked to the third, and we are getting it around 82 to 83% of the organic carbon, which is more as a quality, you can say, as per the biochar, European biochar standards. We are getting this one. And we start this in the commercial production mode. So we are producing the biochar and selling to the farmers, or in the city areas, the people are coming forward, they're using their kitchen garden or in their garden or so. So this is simple, say the production cost of this biochar, including your labor, transportation, your crop residue or raw material is around 32 rupees, including your everything, your diesel, manual, fabrication cost and all these things. And we are selling it at 52 rupees a kg. So, but if you search in the your Google, then in Amazon, people they are selling is around 270 rupees or 300 rupees a kg, this biochar. But that they give a certificate, okay, this biochar contain this much kind of organic carbon in the during this process, we are getting this much also. Then certainly it is a good option for the utilization of crop residue for production of the fuel. And through this, we see this reactor that we designed this one reactor for the production of biochar in a continuous mode. And this is a simple, you see, the kind of shiny groundnut shell biochar that we produce and assess their performance. And as far as in traditionally, you see in the Indian continent, see, so in India, when simply see in the Jharkhand people's area, the tribal people, they are converting this crop residue to biochar or forest residue to biochar and feed into the soil in their own field. And then their drastic productivity is increased. Bhaskar Reddy, they're member of the Munda tribe living in the Orissa, Jharkhand, and the West Bengal. They use the biochar to enrich with your cow dung and the chicken dungs. So poultry dropping and all these cow dungs, they for increment of the crop production. So Dr. Reddy is this Bhaskar Reddy rigorously studies and have given complete documents and that's available on it is around 1.5 to 1.7 times the crop productivity is increased. So in a small land holding capacity, one can increase their productivity using this biochar. And whatever crop residues available, that their own crop residues, they produce their own biochar using different conversion mode. And so the benefit, the smart climate benefit discuss this biochar. It's improves soil fertility, stimulating your plant growth, your feedback effect. So they're more consuming more carbon dioxide. It means it is a carbon sequestration mode and reduce your fertilizer input. So once all our honorable prime minister is many times it's mentioning that we are going to increase the income of the farmers also. So certainly that's reduce the input. So the biochar certainly it is reduce your chemical need of the chemicals, your emission of the greenhouse gases from the fertilizer manufacturing production. So and your N2 and CH4 emissions certainly will reduce gas from the agricultural soil. So if you add this biochar into the soil, then certainly this NOx and this methane gas emission will reduce. And microbial life certainly, because it makes a porous to the soil, so more aeration will be there in the soil. So microbial life certainly will increase and more and one study is conducted in our university. They kill harmful pathogens if you add this biochar in the soil, and it reduces the emission from the feedstock. So converting this agriculture forest waste, otherwise it generate your natural decomposition. Because once this all biomass you put into the open field condition, certainly it will decrease, degrade. And once this natural degradation of this all biomass will release the methane gas, and it is a very dangerous greenhouse gases. And certainly it can go for the energy generation, that heat generation, and also your bio oil or synthetic gases generations. And during this biochar production, and can be used to displace carbon positive from the fossil fuels. So this is the benefit of this one. So what we find this one, that our developed technology, that is screw type, auger type, or say simply this biochar production is a continuous mode, and it handles 20 to 25 kg of crop residue and per hour, and at yield, optimum yield that is we are achieving is will use and residence time. So biochar simply theoretically say the biomass, any kind of biomass usually contains 70% volatile and 30% is fixed carbon. So that whole biochar is conversion process is there. So once we convert this into the theoretical process, so then certainly it will, if we go for use around 400 or so kilocalorie per kg, but around your 6,000 kilocalories. So 58% higher calorific value you can achieve if you go for a fuel purpose. Otherwise, for soil amendment or carbon sequestration, there is no issue of the calorific value. And see biohydrogen production through crop residue, that how we can go for bio oil production through cross production or crop residue. So biohydrogen C is an energy carrier. It is not a source of the energy. It is a energy carrier from one of the primary energy sources. That is your fossil fuel, nuclear, solar, biomass, hydrogen, geothermal, or in urban waste sources, these kind of resources, etc. So simply, it's burning. When you burn this pure hydrogen, then it's producing water and heat only. And combustion heat engine hydrogen act as a fuel. So combustion of the heat, that combustion during the hydrogen. So this hydrogen is energy carrier because it produced from the primary source of the energy. And this hydrogen this heating value, or the higher heating value, you can say the calorific value is around 440 megajoule per kg. And this is, say, the least pollutant to the other. And we can produce this hydrogen through the biomass. And this hydrogen can store 3 times more energy than the gasoline and 7 times more than the coal gas. So this can produce through water splitting or from the biological agent. And biologically produced hydrogen known as a biohydrogen. So one can think on product mode using the biomass also. So biohydrogen is an emerging source of the energy in agriculture sectors. So we can produce these things. Okay, this is this called all biohydrogen hydrogen production route. So this simply or solar direct splitting the water through electrolysis process, or the biomass through producing the gasification process. You can extract the hydrogen or feed into the fuel cell also, and solar photovoltaics, all the electrolysis process, and you through radioactive coal gas and all these things. And some hydrocarbon, carbon about 95% as from hydrocarbon is fuel, means your fossil fuels, and followed by electrolysis of water 4% only, and only 1% is produced from the biomass, though is a biological process. So one can think that there is a huge research gap is available. One can think on production of this biohydrogen through your biological mode. So biological process is required more attention on hydrogen production path through biological process or through. And this hydrogen see from the pyrolysis process. So through pyrolysis process, simply as we discussed, we add some sort of the gasifying agent. We can use dolomite or other kind of the catalyst which enhance the reactivity and the that biomass property. And so up to 400 to 600 at atmospheric pressure, even less than atmospheric pressure, 0.1 to 0.5 megapascal of that pressure. So while pyrolysis is pyrolyzing this biomass, so we can achieve the carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, or your methane and hydrocarbon and ash content. So it depends, the temperature range depend on the type of the biomass, that what type of the biomass you are using. So if you are using the hemicellulosic biomass, then it degrades the temperature of material, then it's 350 to 400. In lignin content of lignocellulosic material, then 300 to 550 degrees Celsius temperature is required. Then methane and hydrocarbon produced, this can be used for further generation of the hydrogen. So if hydrocarbonous materials or the product and the methane, the product produced during this pyrolysis process, it can be used for the production of hydrogen. And pyrolysis of biomass is required less than that in case of steam reforming. So what we can say, if you produce a kind of hydrogen through the steam reforming process, then quality steam is required. More energy intensive process is there, but pyrolysis is less energy process is there. And so no doubt, it certainly it releases the carbon dioxide and other gases to that environment. So some vicinity will be polluted. And see about your greenhouse gas mitigation. So mitigation is nothing but how we can reduce the emissions of the productions things. The gases, greenhouse gases are nothing but
Hello, sir.
Sure, sir.
डिस्कनेक्ट हुआ, एक बार का कनेक्ट कर दीजिए सर. हाँ, यस यस సార్ కట్ అయింది సార్, ఆయన రీజాయిన్ అవుతున్నారు.
ఓకే ఓకే
సార్ రావడం లేదు సార్.
వస్తా, మళ్ళీ రీజాయిన్ అవుతున్నా సార్.
సరే.
हेलो
सर.
हाँ, am I audible now?
हाँ, अभी ऑडिबल सर. आप
Okay.
पीपीटी शेयर कर दीजिए.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
I'm extremely sorry for interruption. I lost the connection.
No problem, sir. No problem.
So about this mitigation application, we can see if we increase the efficiency of any system, certainly we are utilizing the more fuel in efficient way. The same amount of the fuel deliver the more energy. So that is your mitigation part. So by trapping that's net amount of the heat trapped gas released in the atmosphere, your mode of this one is your cleaner burning fuels and energy conservation, or capturing the carbon from the productivity, or the increase the efficiency, production efficiency, and go for through the carbon sequestration in the soil. Okay, so as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, we use to increase the fertilizer efficiency and carbon sequestration. So if you add the biochar or the charcoal in the soil, certainly the fertilizer efficiency will increase. So it's give the more productivity and reduce the chemical input, and we can capture the carbon, and by improving the overall efficiency of our machinery or our product, and cleaner burning of the fuel means again you improve the energy efficiency. It's your energy conservation as a part of your mitigation things. So in mitigation, see your climate change mitigation, it consists here action to limit the magnitude or the rate of the global warming and its related effect. That is your climate change and mitigation. So it generally involves the reduction. So all anthropogenic gas and fossil fuels is accounted 70% of the greenhouse gas emission. And main challenges is there is substitute the low carbon energy source. The low carbon energy source is only is your biomass. So low carbon energy source is only in biomass or to other renewable source of energy. That's maybe your solar, wind, or hydro or so. But as far as the agriculture sector is concerned, we deal with the biomass. So the biomass is a low carbon energy content kind of the source as compared to your fossil fuels. So though it contains the carbon, but as compared to your that one, we need for processing your upstream processing and downstream processing, then we can get the quality kind of the fuel. So which ultimately increase the productivity, increase your efficiency, fuel efficiency, and see. So this is the way that we can go for this one. The main source of this greenhouse gases, your carbon dioxide is your fossil fuels. So fossil fuels is on an annual basis, it emits your 34.6 gigaton of the equivalent carbon, considerably monitoring. Deforestation due to the human or industrialization and human comforts, they are generating the carbon dioxide. Wildfires, no doubt, is a considerable amount of this kind of CO2 is being released. And flaring of crude oil all in your oil refineries or petrol refineries, they are flaring the crude oil production. And vast amount of the carbon dioxide commonly is being unusable gas that is being combusted in the chimney. And these fossil fuels contribute 33% of the methane emissions. In cattle, you see that's cattle contributing 21%. And if you compare the study released by the ICAR, that grazing animals emits less methane content in case of as compared to your dairy cattle. So because dairy cattle, they are laying on one place only, they are hardly move 500 meters or so. But grazing animals are continuously moving, they have a lower CO2 this methane gas emission, and mainly emitted by the livestock, followed by buffalo, sheep, and goat, and all these things. So cattle that is major contributing this methane, 21% methane. And your human waste and wastewater and rice cultivation. See, the last line is your rice cultivation. So rice cultivation is contributing 10% of this methane emission. So more study is being conducted by the agriculture scientists, plant breeders, or they're making a genetically modified rice species or breed to produce the less this CH4. So this is about your methane content, and see about your your nitrous oxide is by the agriculture through this your meat production industry is concerned, your slaughterhouse is concerned, the cattle are dropping pastures, some fertilizers and your animal manure, all those things, they are things. And F gases simply effluent type gases in through power sector, your semiconducting manufacturing industries, aluminum production, and large unknown source of this SF gas is produced. And simple C kind of that what option for the mitigation is concerned. So very first option, we see the reduction. So we reduce the industrial process modification. Reducing, it means we can reduce the greenhouse gas emission by modifying the industrial process. The old age process has to be replaced and modify this one, improve the overall efficiency, and use the renewable energy transitions in their process. So suppose in this process or thermal power-based power plant energy is concerned, a small power plant is concerned, we get the feed water through the solar water heater so that we can achieve 70 degrees Celsius or so then feed. So this much considerable amount of that heat can be saved, and that energy the required for generating this, attending the temperature certainly will reduce. And demand side efficiency just can be improved. So certainly the reduction option is there. Then sequestration means your forest sequestration could give or plant more planting material in the forest or in a barren land also. So making more plant or green vegetative to observe more carbon dioxide is sequestration options. And agriculture sequestration, that certainly will observe the more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. And this carbon dioxide that injection is in your biological and geological formation and mineral carbonization, ocean sequestration means you add the carbon dioxide in aquifer or saline aquifer. Certainly it will observe that carbon dioxide and algae will grow. So this all a sequestration mode or in capture. So you can capture your methane, methane capturing. So in downstream process, you capture that methane and your bioenergy, biomass to the energy, biomass to the product that you can go. So this is capture and their use. And then for option of that reduction. So in industrial modification, no doubts that we can discuss on this regardless of your mitigation benefit. So efficiency that has to be improved in your overall systems, more energy, renewable energy to be incorporated in your, as far as your renewable energy is concerned. So initial input, initial capital cost is much higher, which discourages the end user. But certainly the payback period of this whole system is very fruitful and very fantastic. So that can be used in industrial application or industrial scale. And demand side efficiency that can be improved. The approach is called environmental efficiency. So that opportunity for public relationship. So sequestration, okay, we can put this all carbon dioxide on for putting more forest and tree mortality certainly to be reduced and give a more insect and pest control conditions or pest control monitoring and land conversion. So convert the barren land in the arable land. So certainly you can install you can planting more planting material which grow and observe more atmospheric carbon dioxide. And as far as your agriculture sequestration is concerned, so cropland is converted to perennial grasses. So more perennial grasses that can be installed or can be established, and pasture management to be there, conservation tillage that put the crop rotational method. So that is another sequestration option. And organic manure byproduct. So excessively use your vermicompost or your biochar also, and improve their irrigation irrigation management system in spite of using this flood irrigation. So that certainly the energy input can be reduced in agriculture sequestration mode. And in as far as your mineral carbonization is concerned, so in oil or gas reservoir, you can inject this carbon dioxide in the river, and coal bed that can be injected, so that can absorb the carbon dioxide, so that retain the carbon content. So ultimately that increase the carbon content in the product. So in ocean sequestration, so potentially it is a severe negative environmental impact are associated with ocean injection, because it's all aquatic life will affect it. But research is going on this such type and degree of impact on deep ocean ecosystem. So what is the impact on this ocean ecosystem if we injecting the carbon dioxide in the ocean? So that is another option, but a study is going on in this one. And another, your methane capture by see the figure that the global warming potential, it is between 20 carbon dioxide, and methane and your carbon dioxide occur in biogas. So methane that can be separated in downstream process, so we get the a complete biomethane. So if we compressed it one and can surrender this in compressed mode, then bio CNG, that and revenue generation option is there. So if you generate the quality biomethane and feed into the grid or in your other option, then subsequently you are gaining more money. And biomass to bio in the energy, either go for the bio oil, that is biodiesel, bio oil, paralytic oil, bioalcohol, biogas, and biohydrogen. That we have discussed that how we can capture this energy from the biomass and the product. So that is your all solid product, that is your densified fuel, and your essential oil from herbal biomass that we discussed hydroliquefaction process and the initial instruction. So this essential oil has give a kind of a sense and use in a number of ways that using in a sense. So this biomass to the bioproduct and biomass to energy and methane capturing, these are the option in using this type. And potential, if you see the potential of the greenhouse gas or CO2 mitigation potential using the solar water heater, you can see a domestic solar water heater is domestic. See, we hardly need 100 liter per day, and that can mitigate around 1,237 kg of the carbon dioxide emission in a year if we use it at 50% capacity of utilization. So on an annual basis, we can say 1.2 ton of the CO2 that we can save if we use 100 tons of 100 liter per day capacity solar water heater for our domestic purpose. And hot and sunny regions, it is about carbon dioxide mitigations. This is effective utilization of solar energy for drying the agriculture crop for an value addition purpose. So it is estimated that simply 1 square meter of this aperture area that can save nearly 463 kg of carbon dioxide in the life cycle embodied. So this is a simple drying option. And solar photovoltaic option is no doubt, everybody is talking about solar photovoltaic, and it is a good clean source and direct conversion of the solar radiation into the electricity. So a rough study is a 1.8 kilowatt power solar irrigation purpose. The solar radiation is about 5.5 kilowatt or per square meter that can say or 2.08 ton of the kg of the CO2. So 2085 kg of the air or 2.08 tons of the carbon dioxide can be saved if we compare with diesel operated pumps, and about 1.8 ton of the carbon dioxide if your engine is running through the petrol mode. So, and as far as your mitigation potential of this biogas, so this biogas, a family size biogas plant, usually are talking the 2 cubic meter of the biogas plant, at which need 4 to 5 cattle animal is there, then you can construct a 2 meter cubic biogas plant, and you can save about 9.7 ton of carbon dioxide on annual basis. So per year you can save 9.7, and in case of your community basis, maybe thousands of the biogas plant is constructed or installed by one organization or another organization, then they can claim this claim under CDM, a clean develop mechanism. So they can sell their CO2 to the other industries, and they can generate the additional revenue. As far as your biomass gasifier is concerned, this is our study that what we have observed. So that that biomass gasifier we have designed, and which consumes around your 38 kg per hour and over 300 years in operation. And we saves around 33 tons of the carbon dioxide by replacing the LPG. So in 3000 hours of operation, we save a considerable amount of carbon dioxide by replacing of this one. And as far as your improved cook stove is concerned, improved cook stove means the people's are using in the rural area or in the countryside. Women are closely associated with all agriculture operation, and they are taking care of their children, their husband, and their other family members, preparing the meals, taking the agriculture operation. So we design this kind of improved cook stove, which give a higher rating, higher combustion efficiency, and consume less fuel. So for a double port of improved cook stove, that a single cook stove that can save 7 kg of the fuel per year. See, so 700 kg of the fuel per year we are saving, and around 161 kg of the CO2 per year by one household that can be saved. This is the things that how you can CO2 mitigation option is there. And thank you very much for patiently listening. And if this session is open for discussion, and I am welcome all questions from your end. Over to Head Mechanical Engineering.
So dear participants, please unmute yourself, and you can interact with Professor Panwarlal. So dear participants, please unmute yourself, and you can interact with Professor Panwar sir. You can also type in the chat box. Participants, please unmute yourself, and you can interact with the Professor Panwar sir. So feedback is okay. Anybody can interact.
If anyone have doubt, you can ask, no issue. Okay, Reddy, I think nobody is.
2 points, sir. Everything is understood or nothing is understood. 2 things are happening. I think your explanation is from ground level to end. Detailed explanation you provided, sir.
Thank you, Reddy.
They are giving feedbacks only. Thank you, sir. Excellent session, sir. Nice session, sir.
Okay, they have no question. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
There, sir, we can conclude.
Yeah, sure.
Conclude, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. पवार जी, आप आपका एक्सपीरियंस शेयर किया है, बट इन फ्यूचर भी हम आपको बुलाएंगे.
Sure, Reddy. I am always.
दूसरा, इस बार हम जो ICRA के अंदर जो किया है, प्रोजेक्ट्स किया है गैसिफिकेशन का, विलेज के अंदर जहाँ जहाँ रखा है,
Yes, Reddy.
वो एक्सपीरियंस बोल दीजिए सर. वो ज्यादा मेरे को भी अच्छा लगेगा.
स्प्रे का गैस. हाँ,
स्प्रे का गैसिफिकेशन, उसका प्रॉब्लम ट्रबल शूटिंग कैसा किया है वो.
Now, see, Reddy, that they develop spray inverted downdraft gasifier.
Yes.
They rigorously modified this gasifier that big size or long wood log can be used, and it give a considerable improvement to the previous one. Now there is giving more than 32% of that efficiency, higher thermal efficiency.
Very good, sir. So maximum, I think our coordinator will contact you, sir, next month, I think. Next month, no. One more session he will conduct.
No issue, sir.
Yes, sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you for giving this excellent session.
Thank you, Reddy. Thank you very much. I am utterly thankful to you and your organization. So giving me more this opportunity and a platform to interact with you and see you and your camera in this pandemic situation. Anyway, it's a good interaction with you all. I am thankful to you. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, sure. Shall we end, Reddy?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
I already sent an email to you, sir. Please go through that and.
Okay, sure. Okay.
Fill the information, sir.
Okay, right. Okay, thank you very much, Reddy. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So, dear participants, so with this 7 days over, I think nobody is in active mode.
Sir, due to Sunday.
Yeah. So 7 days over. So what do you think of about the program?
It's very nice, sir.
Not in a single word. Is there any grievances?
No, sir. No, sir. Everything is very excellent.
Going on.
How do you feel regarding the sessions?
Sessions
are you feeling bored?
Sessions are very good and excellent only.
Okay, sir. I think only 1 or 2 participants are responding. So with this 7 days over, so tomorrow we have Manoj Kumar Gupta, Professor of Mechanical Engineering. He is going to give an talk on exergetic analysis of solar air heater and water heater. He is from Engineering College campus, Ujjain, Madhya Pradesh. So all of you join at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow. So thank you for joining this session. So we are going